Welcome back to the Professional Hate Watching Association. There's a little graphic. I'm Ethan here with Daniel, like always. We have Joel back somehow. Welcome back. But we are joined by another special guest. Please introduce yourself, state your name and your team affiliation, because this is important for the context of the show.
Hi, guys. Thank you guys for having me. My name is Joseph, and like Joel, I'm also a Laker fan. So can't wait to talk about free agency and things like that.
So we will be lying tonight, like we always do. I'm
Okay.
kidding.
All right.
I'm just kidding. We're the most objective NBA truthers out there in all of basketball. So we have a lot to talk about today. NBA free agency technically doesn't start until tomorrow, but there's already been a plethora of moves that have already happened. The big one, you could argue, at least the big one for at least one of us here, happened last week, which we will talk about eventually. But for the sake of going over what has most recently happened, let's talk about what happened today. Guys, I don't know about you, but I didn't think Ja Morant was really ever going to get traded. It really got to the point where I didn't think he was going to. Brian Windhorst said he was, quote, flagrantly available. I think that's what it was. Windhorst or Shams, one of the two. But I saw that and I was like, oh, that don't sound good. And then he gets traded for no picks. The Grizzlies don't attach a pick, which I guess works for them. But now he's a member of the Portland Trailblazers. You see that notification earlier today. What were your thoughts for any of you?
My initial reaction was, like you said, I was surprised that the Blazers didn't have them attach any draft picks, because I thought that's what they were during the second night of the draft. They made like a couple trades to get some second round picks, and I thought that they were going to use those honestly to attach to him in any trade. But they ended up using those to get Isaiah Stewart because his value was obviously so low. I didn't think a team was going to take him without getting draft picks. But I mean, the package that the Blazers gave up, what was it, Chris Murray and Jeremy Grant? Like, I think you take a flyer on Ja Morant if that's all you have to give up. So I think it's a very low risk, high reward potential trade for the Blazers, in my opinion, even though they're like the Bulls of the West and have like 50 point guards on their team now.
There's a parade in Semi City starting in Portland.
They called 12 just for just for clarification as well. Ja Morant is entering the fourth year of that rookie extension that he got, which was 5 years, $197 million. And so he's currently slated to make north of $40 million a year for the next 2 years. So the Blazers aren't paying, pennies for who many considered to be the next great point guard of the NBA. It was just 2-3 years ago when this was a thought. And I think with two Lakers fans on, it's perfect to bring up that it never was the same in Memphis after they lost that first round series to the Lakers a few years ago. And they sent Dylan Brooks to purgatory, and then they proceeded to blow the whole thing up. I think that was it last week, Joel, when Palmer was talking about the Blazers being better than the Lakers?
Yes, that was last week. And
now I don't
know what bro was seeing.
I mean, he saw something. The thing about it, and you guys can agree or disagree with me when I say this, Ja Morant still has the potential to be a very good point guard in the NBA. My question is, how does this work for the Blazers? Because they obviously still have Dame there, and that's a point guard. He's a point guard. Even though he's a better shooter than Ja Morant, he's not playing the two. You have Drew Holiday there, who I guess is a solid shooter, but he's not a two. He's also not a three. So I don't really know how this lineup's going to work, because everybody should believe that Dame is fully healthy and he'll be the starter. So I understand the appeal of Portland doing it because you trade away two players from Ja Morant, but I don't know how they're going to fit this into the lineup.
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be some other type of move going on between one of Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, or Dame. Least likely to be Dame because the contract that he has now with Portland's $14 million a year, I believe, for the next two. So that's definitely something they'd want to keep a hold of. I think Drew Holiday's looking like the main piece they're trying to get rid of. I'm hearing rumors back to Boston. Again, we don't know how serious that could really be. Other teams looking at Drew Holiday as well as a solid vet, coming in, bringing championship experience. I just think that Portland's probably going to be looking at Drew Holiday, definitely with Ja Morant coming into Portland starting next season.
Would you rather have Drew Holiday or Ja Morant right now, though? That's the big question.
Right now, probably Drew, but in a year's time, that answer would be likely different. It's just we have to see, what Ja can do in a different environment, in a different system. Now that I believe Portland just hired Minnesota's assistant coach, blanking on his name. Minnesota has been one of better teams in the past 3-4 years, and very well coached under Chris Finch. So I definitely think that if Morant can get under that system pretty well, I think that answer would definitely change in a year's time.
I think part of it too is they run a pretty tight ship in Portland. Not to say, okay, let me walk that back a little bit because their coach did get indicted for gambling charges. So it's not the tightest ship, but Dame Lillard is not playing any games when he's in Portland. I feel like he's a very, he holds people accountable. He wants to do whatever is best to win. And I think that could be a pretty good environment for Ja Morant. I think that if there was a situation, my one thing also is that Portland is a younger team. They're one of the younger teams in basketball, especially if you were to say get rid of or trade away Drew Holiday. It's one of the youngest teams in basketball outside of Dame. And that would kind of force Ja's hand to be more of a leader. You would have to be not just a facilitator in the offense, but you would also need to be one of those guys that people learn from, which he hasn't really been in that role. And I think that I'm not saying he is, it's not my place to say he's poor with accountability, but it would force him to be more accountable in that type of role. So I think if it's going to work anywhere, it'll work in Portland. But again, I don't know what type of lineup they're going to put out there. I'm not really sure. But Portland now has some buzz around it. I will say that they were kind of flying under the radar, and now they go and trade for Ja Morant. They called 12.
Yeah.
So I love this move for Portland. They gave up
They're
nothing.
better than the Lakers now?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Portland will be a nice first-round exit. It's a nice story. I'll give you that. It's a nice story. But listen, I love this for Ja because he finally has a veteran presence in Dame. I think Dame will take a step back. I think Dame knows he's in the end years of his career. So he's taking more of a leader. He's always been a leader, but in the sense of like just being a veteran, not having to do as much as before. And I think this is a good place for Ja to grow. And when Ja's fully focused, he is one of the most exciting players in the league. So I can't wait to see that duo with Deni Avdija.
The piece about it that I was interested in, Joseph brought it up, was could they reroute Ja or other people to like make another move basically and go like send Ja or other pieces to Boston and get Jaylen Brown, because I think Jaylen Brown has been in trade rumors for a couple weeks now, and the Blazers have been a team that like they have a lot of assets, and I think if they were to get him, that would really make them a heavy hitter in the Western Conference, in my opinion, because like Deni Avdija obviously had a great season last year, and Jaylen Brown is coming off the best season of his career and going to obviously be highly motivated going into next year because of the offseason he's been having with all the trade rumors surrounding him. I think he clearly, to me at least, wants out of Boston because I think he just feels disrespected at this point. And if the Blazers were to reroute some of those pieces and get Jaylen Brown, then I think that one, it gives them some clarity on like their depth and their lineups. And then two, I think that just makes them a really dangerous team. But I think it might've been Shams who reported that they're not planning on doing that, and they're planning on starting Damian Lillard and Ja Morant in the same backcourt next year. So that should be a really interesting combo, because I don't really think of Ja Morant as a lethal off-ball player. I kind of feel like he needs the ball in his hands to kind of do his thing. So like that'll be an interesting fit between the two of them. But I mean, it kind of like Minnesota, we're about to talk them later. It makes the Blazers box office. Like, you're going to want to watch their games. So it should be a really fun pairing in Portland.
It kind of reminds me of, speaking of the Timberwolves, when they traded for Rudy Gobert, and then you had Cat and Rudy Gobert in the same front court starting. It's not that it didn't work, but it just felt like it was going to be a little awkward. And I'm not saying that this backcourt is doomed to have the same fate, because I think it could work. I think with the right coaching and offense built around it, I think it could work, because Dame and Ja are such two different players. But that's immediately where I go to. I feel like it's going to be an awkward pairing, not for just purely because of the type of players they are, but who knows? I know we got to talk about the Hornets, but back to Jaylen Brown really quickly. I have not seen a situation like this go as far south as it did, as fast as it did, in the matter of weeks since the NBA season ended. And I don't know about y'all, but I feel like Daniel kind of said it almost just feels like he has to be traded at this point, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about how important he was to them staying afloat this past year.
Yeah. No. Well, especially go
ahead, Joseph.
Especially like, it's tough because, he's making close, I believe it's just over $60 million a year, and Boston's asking for 4 first-round picks, is being reported. So it's been very difficult for, it's going to be difficult for Boston to move on from him, because he was an All-NBA first-team caliber player last season, but also just the core guy that he's been for the past 8 years and winning a championship in 24. It's I'm very skeptical that he'll get traded, to be honest. I think it's one more year with him and Tatum, because, this year with Tatum, it's been kind of, 20 games, and then that collapse against Philly round 1. I just think now it's probably not the best time for Boston to cash in. Probably wait one more year, and hopefully another team could definitely pick him up.
I just dude, why would you do that? The media is finally winning, separating Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They've been trying to do this for like a decade at this point, and now they're finally going to do it. By the way, him calling ESPN unethical was hilarious. That was
it gave off James Harden in China with the Daryl Morey is a liar.
Yeah, same energy.
Thing. It was literally the same thing. Yeah, he was in France at a Cannes event or something, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't even basketball related, and he just called the NBA unethical, or ESPN unethical. Yeah, that was hilarious. And now he's beefing with Stephen A. Smith just because Stephen A.'s been bored recently, and he's like, I haven't talked about the Knicks in a little while. Nothing's happening with Braun. Yeah, let me go beef with Jaylen Brown. So, I don't know. I'm curious to see where he goes. I really thought, like I assume Palmore did, I really thought that Giannis for Jaylen Brown trade was going to go through if there was going to be a Giannis trade, and Jaylen Brown could be the centerpiece of the Milwaukee Bucks. Chills just thinking about that. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You know what did happen, though? The Hornets traded LaMelo Ball. I can't even say it with a straight face. The Hornets traded LaMelo Ball for Naz Reid. Now, a lot to unpack there. Namely, why on earth, maybe one of you can explain it to me. Why on earth and LaMelo is a great player, I'm not denying it, but why on earth would the Minnesota Timberwolves, in their quest to go get a title, give up arguably their best Swiss Army knife player in Naz Reid? Can somebody enlighten me? Because
do one of y'all want to start? I agree with Ethan. So maybe one of you thinks differently.
I mean, they just want to entertain Ant. They don't want him to leave.
That doesn't
Minnesota.
make any sense.
I know, but
that's not how you win a title.
No, I know it's not how you win a title, but they want to make their franchise player happy. It's tough as a small franchise to do that.
The thing with it is, though, the thing that made the Timberwolves competitive and such an interesting matchup for all those teams in the West was their front court and like how much size and like just the bodies they had there. And obviously Julius Randle was terrible in the playoffs last year, like he always is every single year, but he still at his best, like a 20-10 power forward on any given night, former All-Star, and you basically gave him up for nothing. You had to attach your own first-round pick, send him to Brooklyn, trade down in the draft just to get rid of him. And like you said, you traded, like you called him, your best Swiss Army knife in Naz Reid to the Hornets. And now your front court is extremely thin. It's just Rudy Gobert and really nobody else. And now you're relying on LaMelo Ball, who just came off the second of his 6 or 7 years in the NBA of playing 70+ games to stay healthy. And you're basically you're changing the whole identity of your team. You're an offense first team now, and you're relying on a guy who has trouble staying healthy to be the Robin to Anthony Edwards' Batman. I just don't understand it at all.
I think for we talked about this before a lot, multiple times. The playoffs are all about matchups. Yes, you can have a great team, but if you are outmatched in a certain way, you're going home. Like the Nuggets versus the Wolves was the best example of that in these playoffs. The Nuggets were one of the hottest teams going into the playoffs, and they got, even though it was a 6-game series, they got embarrassed in that 6-game series, all because, like you're talking about, the Wolves were their perfect match. And there are few teams that can do that and can say that they are that. They hold that against their opponents in the conference. The only teams that are like that in the West really are the San Antonio Spurs because of Wembanyama and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then the Wolves. And now the Wolves have willingly taken themselves out of that conversation because they're like, oh, LaMelo Ball hoops like he's got one AirPod in. He's fun to watch. Like, dude, I'm not even dissing Melo, because what the Hornets did this past season was really impressive, how they turned it around. But it's not what, at least on paper, it doesn't seem like that's what the Wolves need. It's like they had a disappointing finish. They came up one round short of what they'd previously done the previous 2 seasons, and they had to jump the gun. They took the cake out of the oven before it was finished. Like I don't see it. I don't see this helping them win.
Mm-hmm. But also we're forgetting that they just also re-signed Ayo Dosunmu, who was balling out although off the bench, he was balling out for the Wolves during the playoffs. And it's just very, I don't know. It's almost like the reverse of the 2022 Gobert trade, where it's like Daniel was saying, that the identity was formed of them being a bigger team than everyone else with Kat, Naz Reid, and Gobert. And now if you look at their starting lineup and their depth chart, Kyle Anderson is their starting power forward. So it's not like
in 2026,
slow-mo, Kyle Anderson is their starting power forward listed on their depth chart. And it just completely twists the entire identity, like Daniel was saying. And yeah, again, I'm just really puzzled, especially with Ayo.
I won't go as far as to say the Wolves got worse. What I will say is that the Wolves kind of made a lateral move to change their identity as a team, but a lot of other teams in the Western Conference are getting better right now. So I don't see the Wolves at this point, and I could be completely wrong. The Wolves can win 55 games next year for all I know. But as it is right now, the Wolves, they didn't get better. They just changed. There aren't many teams in the Western Conference, much less the NBA period, that can play well against what the front court that the Wolves had. There are quite a bit of teams that can play well against LaMelo Ball. That's what I'll say.
Well, the goal is to win the championship. And to me,
that's not. Yeah,
LaMelo ain't gonna cut it.
I mean,
LaMelo ain't gonna cut it.
I think,
I'm gonna be honest.
LaMelo,
they're not getting over the hump with LaMelo. They need more.
Well, I think LaMelo has the potential to be a very important piece of a championship winning team. I'm not going to say the Wolves can't win a title because of Melo. They can't win a title because their front court sucks now. They're going to put Jaden McDaniels at the 4.
I was going to say, I feel like there's a ton of pressure on J-Mac now to basically turn into the next Kawhi Leonard next year, because they need another. He's their only hope at having any big, sizable defender that you can put on anybody and can give you something on offense. And I don't know if he's ready to take that kind of leap.
I don't think that's fair to ask of him.
Yeah.
And maybe he will. maybe the Wolves win 55 games this year, and Jaden McDaniels is Kawhi Leonard like light, for all we know. But I don't think that's a fair ask of him when you have two ball dominant guards in Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball. Like, LaMelo Ball's play style just doesn't seem like it's going to work. And I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But going to the Hornets side, they sold high on him, apparently. People are going back and forth trying to determine why the hell the Hornets made this trade, because you thought they had it all figured out. And they bring in Naz Reid, who I think is a great piece. And then they're like, well, then who's going to start, him or Miles Bridges? Well, the Hornets solved that problem very fast, because then they dealt Miles Bridges. Where did he get traded to again? Phoenix. For Grayson Allen.
For Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, I think.
Rolls-Royce O'Neal.
Don't forget the first-round pick. That first round pick would be very like important.
like a fifth grader. Basically like a fifth grader.
The Hornets get the fifth grader. The pick
it's a 20. What is it? A 2033
unprotected
first round pick. Yeah.
Oh, unprotected too.
Yeah, they got a hooper.
By that point, the Suns and Hornets will be inherently new teams. So, I mean, we've seen what's happened with the Thunder. We made jokes about them picking eighth graders, and now look at them. So, yeah. I mean, I look at the Hornets roster. I think about how they were this close to getting to the playoffs. They kind of blew it against Orlando, but again, matchup based, not necessarily. It is what it is. You think that they're going to take another step forward, like that's fair, and then they go, "Nah, I'm going to trade my starting point guard and power forward." So, I like. Did Charlotte win these two trades? Did they win one? Did they win neither of them?
I think honestly they won both. With Miles, starting with LaMelo, like they already had, on the bench, they have Kobe White. And I was telling Joel and Daniel earlier that like Kobe White is like 70% of the player that LaMelo is on 50% of the contract. And in his bench minutes, especially with his time in Charlotte, like if you look at his per 36, like he's averaging almost 30 a game. Like that is definitely a huge piece that Charlotte was looking at. Maybe, we'll put him in the starting lineup. And, LaMelo did have, streaks earlier, especially in the regular season where they were bringing him off the bench. And, his value wasn't the highest, but, eventually he, made up for it. And, with the amount of threes that he made and, the amount of value that he did bring for Charlotte, in that trade. But also in the Miles Bridges trade, like, the off the court stuff, we about that. But and that definitely does, carry baggage like it did with the Ja trade. And that definitely, getting Naz Reid, as a like for like replacement, and Naz Reid, being that Swiss Army knife, as we've been saying, I think Charlotte definitely, got, good packages, especially, they only gave up Miles Bridges, a second round pick, and a protected first round pick. That's, and they get Grayson Allen, who is, decent shooter. And yeah, in the playoffs, he hasn't been great, but, Grayson Allen, is a good 3-point shooter that, provides a lot of, depth for the Hornets backcourt.
I disagree.
Okay, you can't just say that. You guys say
I think they won the Miles Bridges trade. That first round pick from Phoenix, the fifth grader, will be very valuable.
Didn't they give up? They gave up a 2029 first round pick? Is that what it is?
They gave up a 2029 protected first round pick. So
okay,
I mean, who knows? Who knows what that?
Oh yeah, it says least favorable of Jazz, Timberwolves, and Cavs. Yeah. What a random lineup of teams.
Right, but the LaMelo trade, the Hornets are playing with fire. I think so. They're hoping LaMelo stays injury prone and basically plays for them how he played for the Hornets. You know what I'm saying? So I think they didn't lose the trade because they did get a good player in return. But LaMelo was their offense in a way. He helped Con Knipple get open. Miles Bridges, yeah, he's a 20-point per game scorer, but if you look at the advanced stats, they're not as good as you think. And I mean, Brandon Miller, that dude now is gonna have to have the ball in his hands a lot. I just don't think that's gonna work out. The Hornets were supposed to be an upcoming playoff team in the upcoming season, but now I don't even know if they'll make the play-in.
No, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Joseph sold me on Kobe White. I know he's still there.
Mhm.
I didn't realize he was that good. If you want to talk about the statistics, I just think that the Hornets willingly did what the Wolves did as well, which is kind of just change their identity. But I don't think it's as drastic because, like Joseph said, they have somebody waiting in the wings to replace LaMelo, and Kobe White's no LaMelo Ball. First of all, he's not as tall as him, so he's not technically as versatile. But they have somebody on deck. The Wolves don't have anybody on deck to replace Naz Reid. Now, don't come over here and tell me that it's Kyle Anderson. He was on the Warriors. I watched that man hoop. He's not a bad hooper, but that's not Naz Reid. Naz Reid. So I just don't know. I think about the Hornets, but then I think about the Wolves because I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you got scared. Like, the Hornets trade is interesting with LaMelo because it almost leads you to wonder. We heard trade rumors about this earlier in the offseason. Leads you to wonder if this was their goal all along. They waited for him to be better, to play better, more consistent, and then they're like, all right, he's done. So
that's kind of where I was going to go because I'm wondering if they saw what happened against Orlando in that playing game, how they just got absolutely blitzed and didn't even stand a chance. And I know when Shams reported it, they weren't even shopping him, which made the trade rumors interesting because it was like, oh, teams are interested in trading for him. A trade could happen quickly, but they weren't shopping him. But then I think what they thought was, like you just said, he's coming off arguably the best season of his career, definitely the best one in terms of health. And now it's like, maybe they thought, is this what we can expect going forward? 70 plus games and contributing, winning basketball. And I think they said no. So they pounced on trading him the second his value was as what it is right now, because I think you could argue he hasn't been this valuable since he was an all-star in 2022. And the Hornets also were a decent team that year, made the play-in. So maybe they thought this season it wasn't the norm. So I think that definitely played a part in it.
I don't know what they're doing, man. I just don't get it. The Hornets maybe a little bit more, but the Wolves, dude, I just don't. Like, they're willingly giving up their place as one of the best teams in the Western Conference, but
it's box
maybe
office.
they won't.
It's box office. That's it.
It's box office, but like, you two are Lakers fans. You should know that don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that what the entire like mid to late 2010 up until from like the end of Kobe's career till Bron got there? Isn't that exactly what the Lakers were like trying to do every offseason and it just didn't work? And if I remember correctly,
just because we got a ball brother, like, yeah, like unfortunately, it didn't work out, but it was box office and it didn't lead to much winning. And I think I gotta disagree with Joel.
I was gonna say, didn't the Lakers have their worst record ever in Kobe's last season? I'm not dissing Kobe. I'm just like, it doesn't work. Like, box office is great and all. You can sell more tickets, but I have a hunch that the Wolves didn't have an issue selling tickets. They are already pretty box office as it is with Anthony Edwards. So maybe the Wolves see something I don't. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect Melo at all because his highlight reel is pretty impressive. I would like to point out, I would be a fool to not point out that this is going to be one of the least media trained backcourts in the history of basketball. So that's box office. I'm excited to see that. That's what I'm excited about.
They should do all their post game interviews together.
Yeah, both of them. It's gonna go triple platinum every night on Twitter. Like, I will be there like clockwork. I won't even know the Wolves have played. I'll just go on Twitter and go look for it. So, speaking of, what are they doing?
Yeah,
the Warriors are causing there's rumors floating around with the Warriors. Now, the NBA draft happened last week. The Warriors took Axel Lendenborg at number 11, and the consensus is that's their best. That's the best pick for the Warriors. Obviously, he's on the older side. It's a win now move. And Kristaps Porzingis just signed a contract extension for 2 years, which I think there's an option on the second season. But Draymond declined his option. Now, clearly, I didn't think, even though I'm the Warriors fan here, I didn't think it was as big of a deal as everybody else thinks it is, because Joel's boy Rich Paul was talking about some, like, everybody's thinking it's going to create a runway, an opening for LeBron and Anthony Davis to end up in Golden State. Now, somebody enlighten me here. Somebody talk to me about why, what where are we going with this? What are they doing? Somebody fill me in. Like, what could be the end goal here? I know what the end goal is, but, like, do you actually think this is going to happen?
Like Joel said, the end goal is to be box office. I think with this, I like with LeBron and Steph, like it's been many years and many off seasons of, oh, like if they team up, like could they win? Like, and you know, LeBron is clearly past his peak, so is Steph, unfortunately. But like, you know, there's still that one chance. Like, oh, is LeBron's retirement looming? And maybe, you know, there could be a chance that him and Steph and maybe Dre could, make a team for 1 year and, just, screw it and, play, but it's not winning basketball. It's I far from it. They're all, it's the unction. They're all old. There's no depth. There would be no depth, limited depth. And it'd just be box office. And I don't see the direction that the Warriors are trying to get with this. And, Draymond not taking his player option is, definitely a sign that they're probably leaning that way.
As if Warriors tickets couldn't get any more expensive, bro. Those things are already so I've been to one Warriors preseason game at the since they moved to the Chase Center. Why? Because the tickets are too expensive. This lineup, should it happen? Now, let me be clear. I don't think it's going to happen. It screams conference finals loss. Like, if they can really put all the pieces together. Why are you looking like that, Joel?
That ain't no conference finals. Are you good? That ain't no conference finals.
It absolutely is a conference
finals.
No.
No. They ain't making the conference finals with that lineup. With Mr. Glass himself, AD? No, man. No, they're not.
He was healthy when he was with the Lakers before he got traded.
Bro, this dude, he'd get his eye poked and it'd be out for like a month.
Yeah.
No. Listen, if we would know anything about AD, it'd be me and Joseph. AD is what Charles Barkley calls him. He's Mr. Clothes Man. Bro's always on the bench wearing some sort of street clothes, whatever that is. The Warriors are not doing anything. I think this is just a way for LeBron to get paid. This is just Rich Paul doing Paul things.
By the Lakers?
I mean,
bro, they're not. He can't be. The Lakers can't pay him all that money. They gave it all to Austin Reeves, famous.
No, we have cap space. No, we do have cap space. We have cap space, but like.
And then you want to talk about a lack of depth?
We're not talking about the Lakers right now. We're talking about the Warriors.
That's real lack of depth right there.
We're talking about the Warriors. Just messing around with Curry's end years. They just want.
Yeah, they're screwing it up, man. It's frustrating because the front office. I say my front office, like I'm in there. The front office just does a whole lot of you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Jimmy Butler trade obviously isn't going to live up to the hype because of his injury, which is a bummer. But I mean, that roster wasn't going to win a title. The Jimmy Butler trade was really cool, obviously, but hindsight is 2020. I get that, but did anybody really sit here and think that roster was going to win a title? Should Jimmy Butler stay healthy? No. Kristaps Porzingis, that trade broke while Daniel and I were recording back in February. What did I say? That's a good move. It's not enough. So the Warriors love doing this iteration of this front office loves making moves that'll be like, hey, look, we did something to prove that we do stuff here. And then it don't do. And then what? You want to play in game versus the Clippers. So I agree with you, Joel, in that I don't this seems like smoke and mirrors. I don't really see this being a thing. Especially when you look at what they would probably have to do to make this happen. I don't know who's trading for Jimmy Butler. He's still recovering from injury.
I don't think he's tradable.
You would have to attach some sort of pick or picks plural. And the Warriors have already been so hesitant to give up picks for players. Why would you want to do that when you're already now you're really close to the end of this era, and now you're now let's sell our future. Their timing of it is just think of it like this: If the Warriors couldn't finesse a deal for Lauri Markkanen, we've been talking about that for like 18 months. If they couldn't do that, they're not doing this. Like, they're not doing this.
Yeah.
Bunch of baloney.
I mean, I just think, even just to keep it simple, like in today's NBA, you need depth to be able to win championships. And if the Warriors front load on all this star power, I don't see who else they're going to have on the roster that makes them competitive enough in the West. Because like Joel said, even though AD was healthy in that last season before he got traded by the Lakers, you still have to worry about his injury problems. LeBron is the oldest player in the league, so it's kind of self-explanatory. And Curry, it feels like he gets hurt every year around like Christmas or something, and then you're waiting for him to come back in like March, and they're fighting to get into the play-in at that point. So the guys are too old. It sounds good on paper. It's gonna sell tickets. It's fun. It's the NBA. That they love the storylines, but it's not winning you anything. You're not better than OKC. You're not better than the Spurs. It's just you're not
better than the Lakers.
They are better than the Wolves, though. They are better than the Wolves.
That's
Yes,
a
they
little
are.
stinky. No.
Yes,
Better than the Wolves? No, man. No.
Bro snuck the
We just talked about this.
Bro snuck the Lakers in there like it's not just gonna be Luka and friends there next year.
Last time I checked, the Lakers made it out the first round.
And then got swept
you beat
in the second round.
You beat the Rockets.
I wonder why
Fred
we didn't
VanVleet
have
and
we
Kevin
didn't have
Durant.
our best player. We didn't have the All NBA first player, and we won a playoff series. If it was any other team, they wouldn't have won a playoff series.
No, Curry would have beaten the Rockets again. Don't close your eyes. Look me in the eyes. He did it just 2 years ago. Curry would have beaten the Rockets again.
Keyword: 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, you're talking about
very different.
Last I checked, he still has ownership of the Toyota Center.
So you're saying if Luka was healthy, you would have what? Beaten the Thunder? Or
no. I'm not saying all that.
Or...
We would have been way more competitive. We probably would have taken 2 games.
You want a cookie? Oh man,
I would love that actually. You know what? I would love that because guess what? The Lakers are going to prove you wrong too.
You took the Thunder to 6.
I mean, that's
4 versus
what is
6.
What is your starting lineup going to be next year? It's going to be Luka, Austin Reeves. Who's your small forward?
Let Rob Pelinka wake up from his nap. All right.
Yeah.
The technically free agency doesn't start till tomorrow. So.
Exactly.
He's getting his beauty sleep so he can be locked in for it.
Jalen Duren will be a Laker.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Duren?
Yes, Jalen Duren. Yeah, you heard me. Jalen Duren will be a Laker.
Playoff faller Jalen Duren?
No, only for this season. Last season, when against the series against the Knicks.
Just this season. But when he goes to the Lakers, he'll magically learn how to be good in the playoffs.
Yes, because Luka's gonna cook. Luka's gonna cook. Yes, Luka's gonna cook. What are we talking about? What do you mean? Luka makes everyone better.
Like he did against
Minnesota
when they
defense.
lost in 5.
Oh my God, not you as well.
No. Ethan, don't bring that up because then Joel's gonna tell you all these BS stats that he found about.
No, it's not BS stats. They're actual stats.
Per 100 possessions, Luka's the best defender. What was the one you were telling me about?
When Luka's on the court, they have a better defensive rating. Do not bring me.
Okay, up. I'll say this. We're going on a tangent again. I have seen statistical proof that Luka is not a bad defender. As a matter of fact, he's a very average defender. So I'm actually not going to harp too much on his lack of defense. What I will tell you, and I'll just leave it at this, he has yet to prove Brian Windhorst wrong from his rant during the 2024 finals.
Man, I don't care what Brian Windhorst has to say.
Well, Luka ain't been back to the finals since. So
I wonder why. I wonder. Last season he was injured, and then this season he didn't even play.
Sounds like the team ain't cutting it.
Luka Doncic has won one playoff game as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. By the way, let that sink in. It's knocking on the door. It's knocking on the door. Let it in. Let it in.
You said 2 years.
2 seasons with the Lakers.
2 years. He didn't play. He didn't play this season.
Whose fault is that? Weren't you just telling us before the podcast the best ability is availability?
Yeah.
So whose fault is that?
His body.
Got to get in better shape.
Just like Giannis, right? Right? That man can't stay healthy. That man cannot stay healthy in the playoffs.
We'll talk about that a little later.
We'll get there. Don't worry, we'll get there.
You really think Jalen Duren's the answer?
He is.
He's definitely
the equation.
He's definitely a better answer than Ayton. Like,
well, that's
come on.
He was all NBA.
That's not a high bar to clear.
he was All NBA second team this year. He definitely improved, and of course he's going to be a better answer, a better fit than Ayton is.
If you think Derek Lively was good, just wait till Jalen Duren's with Luka. Just wait. That's
Do the
all I'll say.
Lakers have enough shooters to pull that type of offense off?
Well, we just got Carr in the draft, and he, although he's streaky, he's still very decent shooter.
So Joel, what is Jalen Duren going to turn into with Luka? Because are you saying Luka is that much better of a playmaker than Cade Cunningham?
I didn't say that much better, but Jalen Duren will still be an All-NBA type of center. I mean, it's not really saying much nowadays because Chet Holmgren's an All-NBA center, but he will be great. He'll be way better than Dominic. Dominic is just too busy DMing girls on Instagram and not being focused on the court.
You said it. I didn't. I don't know. I how do we end up talking about the Lakers again? I do feel like Jalen Duren's. I'm not going to push back on Jalen Duren not being an upgrade because he absolutely is. How are you guys going to pull that off? I say you guys, like both of you are in the front office, by the way.
Lakers, hire me for real.
Like, what does this move? What does a Jalen Duren move look like? I mean, you probably sign him in free agency.
Well, he's expected to, not take this offer from the Pistons. So, that's the likely route. If it's a sign and trade, then we'll throw in, Maxi Kleber's making $11 million a year.
Hey,
but on a serious note, probably I know it's sad to say this because he's been good for us, great, especially in the playoffs with the shooting. But Rui is probably the guy that Detroit's probably going to be looking at. So it's really tough, but probably it would be Rui as part of that package.
I mean,
I think that's the start.
You could just sign him in free agency, and then we're all good.
We'll see.
What'd you say, Palmore?
I said that could be the start of a package.
No, I mean, the Pistons probably want some draft capital just because they want to. I don't see the Pistons give. I feel like the Pistons might overpay Jalen Duren because they just traded away Isaiah Stewart. We just talked about the Wolves front court being thin. If you lose Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart in one offseason, the Pistons start losing the identity of their team. So I feel like the Pistons are kind of in a position, unless they have an ace up their sleeve where they bring in somebody else, but I don't know who that would be. The Pistons can't afford to lose both of their centers in one offseason, which leads me to think that the Pistons aren't going to give him up and therefore might be susceptible to overpaying him. Because Jalen Duren, yeah, you're right. That wasn't a fluke All-NBA selection, but he's got to, if the Pistons are going to pay what I think they're going to pay him to keep him, he's got to continue to get better, which he can. But, I don't know if the Pistons let him go. That's such an L for the Pistons if they let Duren go after willingly trading Beef Stew. Send him to Memphis, by the way.
I mean, Pistons are known for taking L's, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I feel like them and Cleveland, they're at tipping points, but in opposite ways. Because Cleveland is just, Cleveland went 8-10 in the playoffs last year. Yeah,
one more losses than wins. Crazy.
Let that sink in. They need to figure it out. We're not talking about the Cavs tonight, though. We have hit the point of. Oh wait, no, sorry. Got one more thing. How are the Thunder? I mean, actually, I was gonna ask how the Thunder have beaten the second apron. Joseph enlightened me about Shea's contract and how they're not quite at that threshold yet. I bring it up because we've been talking previously about how Hartenstein and Dort, are they going to let one of them go? Or are they going to let both of them go? They keep both. Reactions. How do you what do we think?
I think, it's a good move for now. Shea's contract, I was telling Ethan earlier, doesn't really properly kick in with that $60 million a year deal until 2027. So this, is pretty much the last year that OKC can kind of build more onto their depth. And with Chet and J-Dub making more than Shea this season, actually, funny enough. It's, definitely something that they're going to be, trying to do if they want to, take that team option on Lou Dort. It's definitely something that they're going to take because it's pretty much paying Shea and paying Lou Dort is just paying pretty much Shea next season. So I think Lou Dort's probably gone in 2027. And it's definitely, something to look for, in next season's free agency.
Yeah, no, I was going to agree. I think in the short term, I think it's obviously a nice move because you can keep Lou Dort for his defense, even though I think defense is one way to describe how he plays. I think it's a little excessive, some of the stuff he gets away with, but whatever. I mean, it does hurt, though, that the Thunder lost two pretty good shooters. I mean, Aaron Wiggins wasn't really getting minutes for them in the playoffs last year because of how good AJ Mitchell was playing, but still, it's like him and Isaiah Joe were two very good shooters on their team, and now they're both gone. So, like Joseph said, it's cool that they were able to keep Hartenstein because that was a big question of whether or not they would be able to afford him. And honestly, I thought when they drafted, what's the center's name they drafted?
Adai Mara.
I thought when they made that move, that was kind of them hinting at the fact that they would be willing to part ways with Hartenstein because he just might be too expensive for them to keep. But I mean, the fact that they got to keep both of those guys for defense and size, that's good for them. But I do think losing those two shooters does hurt, though. It'll hurt a little bit.
Wait, I didn't even realize Isaiah Joe got sent to the Pistons. What the heck?
Yeah.
You got traded to Detroit.
My fault. I've been living under a rock.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Competition for Duncan Robinson. I love it.
Duncan Robinson's going back to Miami.
Yeah,
my sources have been telling me.
Your sources have been telling you?
Yeah.
Well, that's actually it's been in the rumors for a minute.
You know what?
So.
Get Max Strus back over there too. Screw it. Get Gabe Vincent over there.
Caleb Martin.
Yes, Laker legends.
Bring everybody back. Bring them all back.
I'll never forget. Speaking of Gabe Vincent, I'll never forget when in his first season with the Lakers, I remember seeing a graphic about how he was in a shooting slump, and I thought, shooting 30% or something. He was shooting 7% from three.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the
Lakers.
Lakers.
When he
was on the Lakers.
Yeah. It was like towards the beginning of his first season. It was like he had made like a single digit amount of threes or something. But yeah, it was like 7% from three. And I just thought that's 7% better than me. That's too damn close for being a pro basketball player. I mean, yeah, if the Pistons have Isaiah Joe, that's a good pickup. Okay. We have hit the point right around the 50-minute mark. We've hit the point where it is time for me or for us to give a certain someone the floor because he has a very important announcement to make in terms of his affiliation for the next 2026 and the foreseeable future. Daniel, I know something important happened on last Monday. And no, it wasn't Algeria beating Jordan at the World Cup. Monday night, Giannis gets traded after we literally talked about how we didn't know if that was going to happen the night before. I want to just let you have the floor to give your thoughts. And then I will open it up and let Joel yell at you for however long he deems necessary.
So I'll say this. I'll take my L in this regard. I was wrong about the Giannis trade, not once, but twice on this podcast near the trade deadline when I was pretty adamant that I thought he was going to get traded to the Timberwolves. That did not happen. And then when we were recording last week, I said that he wasn't going to get traded because it was so close to the draft. And I was like, this deal's not getting done. But I was wrong about that too. And the Misfits made sure to let the entire world know about it when we posted that reel on Instagram, which was pretty funny. So my immediate reaction was I was a little disappointed, a little let down because I wanted Boston because on paper, I thought him and Jason Tatum were just too lethal of a duo to not like. I thought they would be unbeatable as a duo. But now that the dust has settled and I've had some time to think about it, multiple nights to sleep on it, I'm fine with the Miami trade because him in Miami with Eric Spoelstra, easily the best coach he has ever had or will have in the NBA. He just makes things work. That's what I like about Eric Spoelstra. Doc Rivers was not like that. Mike Budenholzer was kind of like that, but not really. And Adrian Griffin, Jason Kidd, all those guys were not like that. So Eric Spoelstra just makes things work. The Heat know how to develop players, and that was obviously the big thing with this trade. The Heat gutting their roster to get Giannis. They lost some depth. Khalil Ware's gone. Tyler Hero's gone. Jaime Jaquez is gone. Who's the Yakuchonis? Is that the other guy people think is like kind of a big loss for them because he's like actually pretty good? I wouldn't know because I didn't really watch him last year, I'll admit. But yes, they did lose some pieces, but I just think that Miami is going to find a way to fill in this roster. Pell Larson last year had a jump from his rookie season, averaged 11 points per game compared to 4 in his rookie year. They already brought Andrew Wiggins back, and although he's making $30 million next year, which isn't ideal, it would be nice if he could take a little bit of a pay cut so they have more money for this offseason. But Andrew Wiggins, I think, is still a valuable player for them to bring back. And they'll figure out what to do. They'll fill out this roster in free agency. I'm not really worried about it. And the big reason why I'm not worried about it is because I look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference, and I said before this episode,
oh, here we go.
I asked, who am I supposed to be afraid of outside of the Knicks? Like, who am I supposed to be going to like losing sleep over in the East? The Knicks are the defending champions. I'll give them that. They're going to bring that entire roster back. They already signed Landry Shamet. That's cool. The Celtics are going to get worse. They're going to trade Jaylen Brown, and they're going to get worse because they're not going to get a player that's equal to or better than Giannis. So their front court is cooked. I saw rumors that their big splash in free agency might be Kevon Looney. I'm supposed to be scared of Kevon Looney? I don't think so. The Pistons are going to get worse. Jalen Duren's out the door. Who else? The Pacers, I'll give them credit. They might be another team I might be worried about because I'll have to see how Halliburton looks when he comes back from injury. I'm not even going to talk about the Cavs. We know the Cavs aren't doing anything. Who else is there? Atlanta, I like, but I think they're like Magic City has time. Next year is not their year. I'm not worried about the Hawks for next year in the short term. Charlotte just got rid of LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges. I think they're going to take a step back next year. So I look, who else? Toronto's good. Like they'll be decent next year, but they're not better than Miami, I don't think. So I look at the East and I'm like, who outside of the Knicks is supposed to scare me? I don't really know. And I'm not saying they're going to win the title next year. I think they have like a solid 2 to 3 year window to try and win it. But next year, I'm not looking at the East like super scared of any team outside of the Knicks. And even I'm just saying the Knicks because they just won the title. To be honest, I don't really care about the Knicks. I'm not scared about the Knicks either. I'll just be honest.
There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot to unpack there. Bold of you to say you're not afraid of anybody in the Eastern Conference when you don't even have a full roster yet. But I digress. My team never really has a full roster, so I'm not really one to talk. As promised, Joel, I saw you. I saw that the look on your face. I know you have something to say. Now, perfect opportunity.
I'm sure he has a lot of things to say.
Oh, I do have a lot of things to say. You just go on yaps, and it's a bunch of baloney. It's a bunch of horse water. That's what I'll call it.
What?
So how are you not afraid of the Knicks? How are you not afraid of the Pacers? The Taliban owns Giannis, and he will continue to own Giannis. He will come back stronger. The Knicks, I don't know why you're downplaying the Knicks. They're re-signing everyone. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson's gone. They could replace Mitchell Robinson, but everyone's coming back. Giannis, like Ethan just said, the Miami Heat do not have a roster. Get ready to learn Russell Westbrook ball. Get ready to learn Bradley Beal. Get ready to learn some minimum free agent that's not going to play good at all in the playoffs, and I would know that as a Laker fan.
Ben Simmons.
You have no shooters. You're relying on Davion Mitchell as your starting point guard on a championship team. Who knows who your shooting guard is? They could put me out there, I guess, because Eric Spoelstra just can get a shooter from Armenia or whatever and turn into like a great shooter. And the rest of the roster, like, what are we looking at? What are we looking at? And then you said it yourself earlier. The best ability is availability, which Giannis cannot stay healthy in the playoffs. He's shown back-to-back years. He's shown in the bubble that he can't stay healthy. He's shown plenty of years he can't stay healthy in the playoffs. So what makes me think it's going to change now? Because he's in South Beach.
Are you done?
I'll let you say something. Go ahead.
Okay, so the point about Giannis being injured in the playoffs. First of all, The last time he was in the playoffs, he was healthy. He played all 5 games in 2025. When they did get gentlemen swept by the Pacers, they did lose that series, but he still averaged 33 points a game. So he was fine in the playoffs. I'll give you the recent string of injury luck hasn't been like, it's been hard for me to argue that Giannis isn't an injury prone player, but last year was the only year of his career that he did not play outside of another season where he didn't play 80% of the games. So 2 out of 13 years in the NBA, he hasn't played at least 80% of the games. So I think
no one said regular season. No one said regular season. I said playoffs.
He's been injured in the playoffs one time. It was the year before when he didn't play against Indiana. When else was he injured?
Hold on. You said in the bubble.
That was 5 years ago. That was 6 years ago.
That was 6 years ago?
Yes.
Yes, Ben, that long since Lakers won a championship. Don't remind me.
Oh my god! Oh, I wasn't even going there. I was just being like, "Wow, that was 6 years ago."
And in terms of the
listen, even if he stays,
I gotta mute my mic while I get existential.
Even if he stays healthy, what makes you think this roster is gonna take him to the next level? Every single hold on, no. I'm not finished. I am not finished. Every single team that has won the championship recently has been very deep, and who has made it to the finals has been very deep. The Miami Heat are the opposite of deep.
That's why I said it's a 2 to 3 year window to fill out the roster. And you literally made my point for me when you were going on your little rant about getting a shooter from Armenia. Spo and the Heat just make it work. They know how to develop players. So even if they don't sign flashy names in free agency, they can still find some randos off the street and make them good. Like, who was Haywood Highsmith before he was on the Heat, or Duncan Robinson or Caleb Martin or Gabe Vincent or any of these guys? Like, they just know how to develop players.
Caleb Martin was a baller in Nevada. Anyways, aside from that, they're not going to do anything. I'll be happy for you once they lose in the second round or in the conference finals at some point. I'll be happy for you. I'll be like, you know what? Giannis really made it that far.
If they lose in the conference finals next year, I will not be mad at that.
Will Giannis call it a failure?
I don't know. No, there's no failure in sports. It's steps to success.
I mean, keep in mind, Giannis hasn't won a playoff series since 2022. So,
yeah, and there's a lot of contextual stuff that people leave out when they bring up that point. So
contextual stuff.
If we had more time, I could get into that, but I don't think we have enough time for that.
The Miami Heat are not doing anything.
Am I saying Miami's going to win the championship next year? No, I'm not even proclaiming that they're going to get out of the East. But any playoff series that they play, I'm not scared of any of these teams. I just give the Knicks their respect because they won the title. Like, I'll give them their respect, but like, none of these teams are making me lose sleep at night as a new Heat fan. So it's
an NBA team shouldn't make you lose sleep. All right.
Yeah.
Listen, the Miami Heat will not, in Giannis' tenure, will not win a championship.
Yes, they will.
No, they won't.
Pat Riley has a history of this. He brought in Shaq, he won a title. He brought in LeBron, he won 2 titles. Got to the finals twice with Jimmy Butler. If the Heat got to the finals twice with Jimmy Butler, you don't think they can get there with Giannis? That's what you're telling me.
Jimmy Butler had to carry that team so much, it's not even funny.
Giannis can carry a team too.
If Giannis, you look at Giannis couldn't carry this year's team, this past season's team to anything, and
he wasn't healthy.
He was hurt.
You know what? Even if he's healthy, he just loses in the first round.
So we're doing hypotheticals now.
Did they lose to the Pacers in the first round?
Yes.
Did they not? Was he healthy?
Yeah, and he put up really great numbers.
Then he can't carry.
Gary Trent Jr. was his second option.
Oh my God! Here we
go. You can't.
The dude that the Bucks are about to let walk was his second option.
You can't say he can't carry when there is proof that he's able to carry a team to a title.
Against CP0.
Against
CP0.
Don't act like that wasn't a great Suns team. Don't do that.
No,
Didn't they beat the Lakers that season?
Yeah, and they were both AD and LeBron were injured.
Injuries. Injuries. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
So is that context that I'm missing?
Yes, it's actually a big context here.
Who was there to carry on the Bucks against the Pacers in the playoffs? Gary Trent Jr. was literally the second best player on the team once Dame went out with the Achilles injury, and throughout that whole series.
Dude,
Kyle Kuzma scored 0 points. He put up a donut in game 1 of that series. You're telling me you expected Giannis to carry that team against the Pacers that went all the way to the finals? That's what you want?
Yeah. Get ready to learn Klay Thompson ball, buddy.
That's actually not a bad pickup.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad pickup.
Get
Y'all
ready
be
to
forgetting.
learn.
Y'all let recency bias forget.
I'd rather have Duncan Robinson.
Well, you might get both because Pat Riley's got to fill out a roster, bro.
Get ready to learn Jake LaRavia. All right.
Facts.
You're cooked. You're cooked. They have no depth. They signed
worried.
Andrew. They signed Andrew Wiggins back. Yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
not worried.
Norman Powell's walking. Like I'm not moved.
You don't need
I'm
Norman
not moved.
Powell.
At this
You don't
point,
need
Rick
Norman.
Ross,
Yeah, we don't need an all-star
Pitbull
player.
and Kodak are gonna start.
Yeah, the
for
all-star
Heat.
player that was coming off the bench last year at the end of the season, and now wants to make north of $20 million a year.
And Eric Spoelstra works wonders, but their all-star player had to come off the bench after he was dog water in the end of the season. You know what? Don't worry. You'll learn.
Yeah,
some
that's
of the
why he's
Miami
not
Heat
going to
ball
be on the
soon.
team next year.
You'll learn Miami Heat ball soon. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll be there for it. Every single step of the
Making
way.
the finals. Is that what I'm about to learn?
Don't worry. Giannis will always be out in Vice City, and
Only-
that'll be the best part of Giannis' tenure there.
Only them and the Celtics are the only two East teams to make the finals twice in this decade.
Jimmy
Is that what I'm about to learn?
And Jimmy Butler.
And Giannis is 10 times
you
better
say
than
Jimmy Butler like
Giannis is 10
Giannis
times
can't
better than
replicate
Jimmy
that.
Butler.
Jimmy Butler beat Giannis multiple times.
Okay, and
What do you mean?
what does that have to do with anything?
Hold
What
on.
does that have to do with anything? That's
Oh my
irrelevant.
God. Oh my God, Giannis was the number 1 seed and lost to the 8th seed, man. I can't.
That's not relevant. It's
Yes,
not,
it is
that's
relevant. Yes,
irrelevant.
it is relevant. No,
That
it
is
is relevant.
That is relevant. Daniel.
It is very
It is.
relevant.
How is it
Because that team was the number 1 seed and they had many good players. And that was the number
Name
1
'em.
seed.
Name
them.
'em.
Chris Middleton.
Chris
Drew
Middleton.
Holiday.
Gold medalist Drew Holiday, by the way.
Like
Bobby
that-
Portis was always there. Brooke Lopez.
Well,
was
Bobby
there.
Portis is in Miami.
Giannis is not going to be playing against
okay.
any player that's of his caliber. He's the best player in the East by a pretty wide margin. He's not playing against anybody that's anywhere close to how good he is when he's healthy.
Jalen Brunson.
yeah,
was pretty
Jalen
He's
good.
the best
Yeah.
front court player.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson was pretty
Yeah.
good. Let's not underestimate Jalen Brunson. Come on.
He's the
come
best
on.
front court player.
He's not a
Jalen
top five.
Brunson
He's
made
not
me
a
eat my
top five
words
player.
during this play.
Giannis is not a top 5 player right now.
That's blasphemous.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Name who are the 5 players better than Giannis right now?
Shea, Jokic, Wemby.
Those are the only 2 I'll give you. I'll give you those 2, and that's it.
So I shouldn't even name.
I'll give you
shouldn't
those
didn't
2.
even
and
let
that's
him
it.
finish
You
the
get
line.
2. You get 2. I don't even want to hear
I
the
shouldn't
rest of
even
them.
name.
That's all you get.
You think
get
Giannis
2.
is better than Wemby?
Yes.
Oh,
The
Okay.
dude who has no
Okay.
offense package, who has no go-to moves on offense. Yeah, he's better. He's better than Wemby.
Giannis will not. He cannot beat that OKC team that Wemby beat. He cannot. Stop.
Again,
Stop
that's
this now.
also an irrelevant argument. I don't
No,
even
it's
know
not
how that's
irrelevant because
what
this
we're talking
boosted
about.
him up to top 3. Oh my goodness gracious.
Top 3 is kind of crazy.
Wemby's not better than Giannis.
Wait, Ethan. You don't believe Wemby is better than Giannis?
I didn't say that. I just said putting Wemby top 3 is kind of crazy.
Do you think Wemby is better than Giannis?
I don't know. We haven't seen Giannis play in a while. I feel like he's.
Oh,
I
so
feel like
But
he's going to remind us in what is it? End of June, in 4 months' time, the type of player that he is.
No
But-
question. This man is a great player in the regular season. No question.
What are you
And-
talking about?
No question. In the
He-
postseason,
He put up 50 in a finals clincher.
against CP0 and dominate him.
Don't do that. Do not do that.
Yes, I will do that.
Do not do that because you didn't even mention Devin Booker.
Yeah,
Devin Booker was having a borderline MVP season that year.
Yeah, because he was a great player, but like, come on, man, Cam Johnson
Oh,
was.
come on, man. Are you
No,
don't do that. Do not do that. That
wait,
Suns
so-
team was
Hold on.
legit.
That
So can-
same
so can I-
Suns
so-
team
so
that
can I
got
say that-
smacked
so
by
can I
Lucas
say-
next year?
So can I say that LeBron and AD's most recent championship came against a 5th seed with Jimmy Butler as their best player?
By the way, Giannis lost to that Heat team.
Okay, so
What
what?
do you mean? Okay, what do you mean?
The- the
Okay,
la- the la-
he was
the
down
la-
3-0. He was down 3-0. What is
the
it?
Lakers,
3-1?
the Lakers lost to that Suns team.
No, we were injured. We were injured.
Did you win the series?
Did you win the series?
No, you lost.
Hold on.
You lost
What
the
did Joseph?
series.
What did Joseph bring up
After
earlier?
you were up
What did
2-1.
Joseph bring up
After
earlier?
you were up 2-1, by the way.
Yeah, and then AD completely broke his ankle basically, and he couldn't get on the court.
So
Tough
Giannis couldn't get past the Pacers, right? Why couldn't LeBron carry the Lakers past the Suns?
Because he was also injured and he didn't even play. What are you talking about? He didn't play in certain parts of the game. What do you mean? Oh, okay. Man, you know what?
Okay,
I can't wait for this next upcoming season.
So you want to make excuses for injuries. So why doesn't Giannis get that excuse for 2023 when he missed 3 games against the Heat?
The number 1 seed. He was the number 1 seed. He was the number.
You don't have an answer.
Hold on. The number 1 seed. Wait, he came back. What was it?
He missed 3 games.
What game was it?
Out of
Game
5.
4. Was it game 4 when they were at Miami, right? At Miami when Jimmy Butler went stupid, right? That was the game.
Yeah, that was the first game he came back and played after missing 2 straight games. Yeah.
He was the number 1 seed. They were the number 1 seed. You act like that team wasn't good. You act like the pieces around it weren't good. That was the same team. That was the same team.
So why did they go down 2-1 when Giannis was hurt? If that team is so good,
that sounds like an indictment on the team's inability to win.
If Giannis's supporting cast was so good, why were they down 2-1 as the number 1 seed when he came back in Game 4?
I only give you this: Drew Holiday forgot how to play basketball.
Doesn't answer the question.
Sounds like an indictment on
this is some Love Island shit right now. Nobody wants to answer the question I'm asking.
You would know a thing or two about Love Island.
Nobody wants to answer my question.
No, I answered it. But you know what?
No, you didn't.
You know what? I'll just say this: I can't wait to see Giannis not win in Miami because superstar trades recently have not been working. You need a deep team to win in the playoffs, and the Miami
like the Luka trade. He's won 1 playoff game in his 2 seasons with the team.
completely robbed the Mavs. That's irrelevant from right now, but whatever.
You said superstar trade. Is Luka not a superstar then? Is that what you're saying?
Hold on. We're speaking about Giannis trade, not about the Luka trade right now.
You said superstar trades have not worked.
Yes, but we completely robbed the Luka from the Mavs. That doesn't count.
Matter if it doesn't work for you.
He has 1 playoff win to show for it.
He didn't play this season.
Does it matter? Does it matter if it doesn't work? Look at your light turned off. Even it knows you're lying.
No, because I'm
trying to see you off.
No, listen.
Exit stage left, Joel.
You know what? Time will tell. That's all I'll say.
We'll end it there. Time will tell. I agree.
Okay. Oh, I will say, Shaq got traded to the Heat in 2004, and then he won a title in his 2nd season with the Heat. So,
LeBron didn't win until
do what you want with that information. LeBron went to Miami, won a title in his 2nd season.
You're right. Bam Adebayo's Dwayne Wade. I got it.
Do what you.
I got it.
You mean the 2nd greatest scorer in NBA history?
Yeah, the 2nd greatest scorer in NBA history, actually.
Yeah. Yes, him. Yes.
Yeah. All right, that's all that we got. We got to get out of here, but thank you, Joseph, for joining us. Joel, welcome back, I guess.
I'll be back. Yeah.
Free agency starts tomorrow. We will be watching it, and we'll be back again probably next week to talk about it. But for now, that does it for this episode of the Professional Hate Watching Association. We will see you next week.